Guys, welcome again to our TrueFi Town Hall. We've been doing these about every month or so, and turnout's always even bigger and better than last time. I see a lot of loving, familiar faces. In recent times, I've even learned about some of your favorite video games, NFTs, city locations, and art, as well as music. So it's really cool to just kind of like start getting to know everybody, and then here is kind of like what I would say, escalating our connection here by getting to hear each other speak and kind of get to know each other better. We'll have a little bit more of an announcement later on about where you can get to know us even better in East Denver coming up in February. I'm going to go just allow some of the folks in our team to unmute popcorn style and just say their name and department. We're going to keep it really concise. We don't need a full bio this time. And then we'll get the show on the road by going over the agenda and then handing it off to Raph for the first point. So I'll be your host for today. I'm Michael, heading up marketing, and I'll pass it off to the next person that wants to popcorn. Why don't we hand it over to Raph to kick us off there for the intro.
Hello, this is Raph. I am CEO of TrustToken. It was AWOL. Now, I think someone's got a bunch of background noise. It sounds like a huge slurping machine. It's a little frightening. But I'm going to hand it over to Ryan Rodenbaugh.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, what's up?
Hey, if you could just introduce yourself.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I think most of you guys know me at this point. Ryan on the business development team here, and doing everything there.
You want to give it to Bill?
I can jump in here. Happy to chat. My name is Matt, social media guy, community manager, Discord, Telegram. I'm blown away by this turnout. I'm super proud of all the people that are here, so thank you everyone for showing up. A lot of work went into this one. Looking forward to filling you all in on upcoming TrueFi stuff.
All right, we got maybe we'll throw it over to Bill, if you'd be so kind to say hello. We've been so keen to hear from you in some of these.
Took me a second to hit my mute button. Good morning. Glad to be here. Glad to be officially here. I've been working behind the scenes,
Mazel tov.
and now I'm officially full-time working here, and I couldn't be more excited. So hello to everyone.
And you're leading our investment efforts there.
I am the Chief Investment Officer, so and so thrilled to be here.
Beautiful. And so we've got a few more folks here. Ada, Antec, why don't you guys go next?
Sure, guys. Hi, I'm Ada. I'm on the marketing team, leading marketing efforts in China and Asian market. Welcome, guys, and there will be some good news announcing. And Antec, handing to you.
Thanks, Ada. Great to meet you all. My name is Antek, and as part of the marketing team, I'm working on our involvement with East Denver. So I'll be happy to share some details later on. And I'll also tell you more about our smart contract bug bounty program. Back to you, Michael.
Hal, I think, was about to speak up, so let's hand it over.
Hey, I'm Hal. I am formerly the technical lead for the smart contract engineering team, but I recently have switched to become a technical product manager, and I'm focusing for the next 2 quarters mostly on improving the DeFi, improving the TrueFi DAO, and working on improving true tokenomics.
Hell yeah. I'm sure a lot of us here are excited about that. We also have Michael Bland. I'll do the honors for Michael. He's got a 15-month-old eating in the background, so big congrats on that. But when he's not super dad, he is managing a lot of things legal here for us, alongside Tom, who may also be joining us. With that, I'll hand it over to Teresa, if you want to talk about some of your working compliance.
Yeah, I'm Teresa, and I am head of compliance and manage the compliance program to make sure we keep this protocol safe and credible.
Beautiful. And then we've got, why don't we over to Russell and then Tyler. And then I think the last person I see here is Cindy. So we'll go in that order, please. And then actually I see Roshan as well, so we'll finish strong with Roshan, please.
Thanks, Michael. Hey everybody, this is Russell Cordy.
CFO here at TrustToken, started a couple months ago. I know there was some concerns about my health on some of the Discord chats, but glad to tell you that I'm doing really well and really excited to be part of the team. So looking forward to today's meeting as well.
Oh yeah, I'll take it next. Hey guys, I'm Tyler, product manager here at TrueFi, working on upgrades to the protocol that I'd be happy to share more about today. Pass it over to Cindy.
Hi, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. I'm Cindy. I am new to the team. I am super excited to be here and learn all about TrueFi. I am working with Raphael as his executive assistant.
He's getting serious around here. And then we'll, I see here that Roshan is here as well, and then Tom just joined us. So we'll finish off with those two, and then we'll jump into the agenda.
Hey guys, I'm Roshan. Most of you know me, head up credit and lending here generally. Excited to keep building our book.
And hey, I'm Tom. I'm running strategy and super excited to be building the protocol for global lending.
Great. And hey, before we jump into the agenda, can we also have Tim Welsh, if he's on the line?
Oh yes, and I see Anna's here as well. So let's get Tim and Anna to say hello.
Tim might not be available. Anna, do you want to jump in?
For him, yeah. Let's go Anna, and I also see Scott here. So Anna and Scott, and then we'll get into it. Oh, Anna might not have permission, so let me go ahead and unmute her. Anna, you want to say hello? You'll have to unmute yourself, unfortunately. Bottom left side of the screen. See a little microphone button. Well, let's see. Well, why don't we have Scott say hello first, and then maybe Anna can play with her microphone. And otherwise, I'll do the honors and introduce Anna on her behalf. Scott, you want to say hello?
Oh, hi guys. I'm the IT manager at TrustToken.
Beautiful. Good to have you, Scott.
Thank you.
And then I'll do the honors of introducing Anna, who I have had the pleasure of working with evermore, now that we have a department and an actual team. She leads all things HR on the Western front, in all things in sort of the Americas, and also gets her hands involved in some other regions. Just amazing to work with.
All right. I think we're dive into the agenda.
Let's do that.
Right.
So you might also be able to see the agenda written out, but I'm going to go through and read it for you guys, just to add a little extra hype there, huh? We're going to start with the TrueFi Present and Future with Raf. He's always got a lot of vision to impart on us. We've been privy to some of that in a recent company retreat, and I'm really excited for him to share some of the things that we've come up with, both on a high level and on a more practical level. As he talks about what's been happening practically, we'll also introduce our special guest. I'm really excited they're here. Raf will do the honors, but this will be one of many. I can promise you that. We'll dive over to Protocol Analytics with Tyler to kind of give a state of the union. Where is TrueFi right now, not just where it's going. And then we'll show you, also led by Tyler and the product and eng teams, some of the incredible things coming in the pipeline around this new lending marketplace model that we're building. We're going to then jump into some rapid fire. Antik is going to talk about our bug bounty, originated by Yuchen. And then we're going to head over to the merch store, which I'm sure many of you guys are going to be really excited about. We've got some really good stuff there. We've also got a little special announcement for everyone on this call in that regard. And speaking of special announcements to the call, Matt is going to be managing the POAP giveaway. We've got a cute little, another sort of aqua dragon for you guys. It's been hitting it off in Telegram, so at least we have that much. And then we'll probably hand it off to Antek to finish strong with some ETH Denver updates. These virtual sessions are beautiful. Wouldn't be nice to actually grab a drink, see each other's faces, shake hands, dox each other in person. So with that, we'll finish off finally with our AMA to give you guys a chance to ask anyone, not just the core team, but also if you have any questions for some of our guests, then we'll jump into that. With that, Raf, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael G. I appreciate the introduction, and thank you to all of our wonderful teammates and community members who are taking the time to be here today. So as you all know, I'm Raphael. I'm the CEO of TrustToken. And just to kick off this town hall, I really want to bring it back to the high level, which is what are we doing? Big picture. We are building the protocol for doing lending on the blockchain. And we think that a huge fraction, potentially all of lending in the future, is going to be done on the blockchain using DeFi technology because it is a fundamentally better way to move money around. Now, the challenge that we face, just like the internet in the early 90s, it was a fundamentally great technology, but there are lots of usability issues, there's lots of mistrust, people aren't comfortable with it, people don't have access. There's so many hurdles to being able to really utilize the power of this core technology that we've got. So that's a lot of what our journey is about. And we spent year one, which was most of 2021, really developing this core protocol, building out some initial lending pools, and doing a ton of lending with primarily crypto native borrowers. That was our beachhead market, and we really focused on doing well in that market. We're continuing to grow there. We've originated now well over $1 billion of loans, 0 defaults. That's performing very well. But year two, 2022, is really about expanding beyond that core market and starting to break into TradFi. And this is not trivial because a lot of the folks in TradFi are not as comfortable with these technologies. They don't understand it as well. And so we need to really hold their hand. We need to bring on the right partners. Folks like delt.ai, whom some of you have heard about and who's actually going to be presenting later, are some wonderful initial partners for us from the TradFi world. And that is really where we're going to be expanding in the next couple of years and helping us get from 1 billion to 10 billion to 100 billion. So that's the high level. That's what we're up to with this protocol. I hope everyone is as excited about that as I am and as this team is. And what we're going to be talking a bunch about today is the TrueFi Marketplace. TrueFi Marketplace is us opening up the protocol to, rather than just having a handful of pools, to really being able to bring on the top asset managers from lots of different areas, whether it's corporate debt, venture debt, entertainment finance, structured products like CLOs, CDOs. There are so many different areas that there's no one individual, there's no one company that can be an expert in all of them. We need to have an open protocol, a marketplace, where the best asset managers from each of these areas can come on board and launch a portfolio on TrueFi. So that is what we are rolling out in very short order. We actually have the code for that is undergoing audit at this moment, and it's going to be back from audit quite soon. And we're going to be launching those first portfolios. We are going to have some new portfolios there that are focused on lending to crypto borrowers, like some of the folks we've already been lending to. And we of course think that there's more growth for us in that area. But the piece of this that we're most excited about is really starting to lend within TradFi, because that is where we think the majority of our growth and the biggest opportunity over the next couple of years really lies. So I'll leave it with that, Michael. Is there anything that I missed?
Well, I think one of the things that I would love for you to do, and you can hand the honors off to anybody else if you like, is to introduce a little bit more about our partner, delt.ai. We're about to just invite them to participate on the AMA side of things, and to speak a little bit about who they are, what they do, how they use TrueFi, and where they put the money from TrueFi. But if you could just do the honors of introducing our first ever non-crypto sort of partner there, would be amazing.
I would love to. They are a phenomenal partner for us, but I'm going to give that honor to Bill, our Chief Investment Officer, who I think just heard from recently. He and his team, including Ryan, Roshan, Wukash, and others, have been working very closely with delt.ai to really make sure that our protocol and the initial portfolios we're going to be launching are going to be meeting their needs and the needs of other great borrowers like them in TradFi. So Bill, let me hand it over to you. If you could introduce delt.ai and just share with the community why we're excited to bring them on as one of the first partners here.
That's my pleasure. Thanks, Raf. It is our extreme pleasure to have delt.ai on here with us today. And let me introduce it by saying this, which is, I think a lot of people are watching this happen. there is incredible innovation going on in the world of finance, where people are figuring out business models to serve markets that have historically not been able to serve, or to figure out how to serve markets that are served and serve them in a much more efficient, egalitarian, and frankly, just financially democratic way. And delt.ai is at the forefront of that. And what's interesting about that to us is the capital markets are slow to recognize this change and to provide capital to it. And what we want to use TrueFi for, and we want to use it for a lot of use cases, as Raf discussed, but we want to use TrueFi to access and give capital to these incredible business models that have figured this out and that are going to create incredible value for their customers and for their investors, including debt investors. So it's with extreme pleasure that we introduce you all to Joe, who's on the call here from delt.ai, and we just could not be more pleased to be partnering with somebody who is doing such amazing work and provide capital from the TrueFi platform. So with that as sort of intro, I don't know, are we ready to hand it on to them now, or are we just waiting till the AMA portion? I don't know what's next on the agenda.
Hi, Gochi.
Oh, apologies, I was muted. No, we're in it right now. It's all happening, you know. So with that, Jose or Joe, if you prefer, would love for you to introduce us to delt.ai, the product that you're building, and to say a little bit more about your relationship to TrueFi. We're all excited to hear from you. You may have to unmute yourself on the bottom left there, but you should have no further blockers.
Hello, everybody. I am Joe from delt.ai. I really appreciate to be here with you all, listening about all of this news and everything that it's been built in the side of the future and the present of finance. Just to give you a little bit more of an idea of what we do at delt.ai. Delt.ai is a Latin American company based out of Mexico City. We have people all around the world in the same way that you do, but we focus our product in creating digital banking for businesses. We found out that the current banking system was essentially broken, and we wanted to help entrepreneurs, business owners, to do their finances better with a banking that really understands and helps. And we were very happy about how the business owners received our product, which is basically a credit card that allows you not only to pay for goods and services on premises, but also a virtual card and the ability to send money to any bank account in the country and receive money for virtually any user that has a bank account in Mexico. So we're connecting everybody that has a need for finance with a smart way of doing things. And we eventually ran into what they call a happy problem, right? And I don't know, sometimes problems are not as happy as they sound. We were very successful, but we were growing so much that we couldn't sustain more funding for these businesses who were very eager to use our product. And that's when we met the TrueFi team. So thank you very much, everybody here. Thank you very much, Rafa and Bill. And we decided to think about how we could partner together to solve this, and essentially connecting the future of finance, which I agree is definitely going to look on the side of DeFi, to traditional finance, to business owners today that they don't really understand yet crypto, they don't understand what they're doing, but they're already benefiting from it. And that's where we connected, and that's why I'm very happy about this. I hope this serves as an introduction to this, and I'm happy to hear your questions. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited.
Thank you, Raf. And so let me ask maybe the most leading question, is this capital that is coming from TrueFi and many of the, maybe eventually even more of the lenders on this call, how are you guys allocating that? And what kind of impact are you seeing from that relationship to your end customer?
We serve two main segments. One of them is startups, and the other one is small and medium businesses. One of the issues that they have is that banks work too slow, and this is not the same case as in the US, but in Mexico, they don't open after 4 p.m. You cannot use them over the weekends. So business owners have the need to access their capital 24/7. They can do that without AI. And now we can connect them to the DeFi via TrueFi. And it's something that nobody has done in this way in Latam, a pure crypto play, because if you see some other participants in the ecosystem of fintech, you will see that many of them fund themselves with traditional banks, the usual suspect, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and so on. That has proven to be very slow. It has a lot of friction, and by connecting to DeFi, at the moment we can do together for them, but eventually I know we will be able to decentralize the other side of the financing, whoever needs finance today in Mexico, which is a very incipient market at the moment. So we're helping the small and medium businesses and entrepreneurs to get the best access to the DeFi, even if they don't know yet how the protocol works.
Beautiful. So it really does serve as a bridge. And the really important thing to consider here is this is crypto money moving into non-crypto businesses. That's sort of the whole point. These rails are getting built as we speak. So it's a hell of a relationship. Let me ask you actually, Joe, to end with I think we've been kind of playing with an estimate of how much money we expect to allocate just with our relationship in this one pool. I think this will just grow year over year. What kind of numbers are we thinking that you might put on the board just this year?
So we expect for this year, just last year we grew more than 20x, which is 1 deal. So we had a volume below $1 million, and now we are almost to hit 50 together. So we expect this year to at least hit $25 million with TrueFi. But that's just our initial expectation. I think we can even break this record very, very soon. So but that's what we're thinking today that we can quickly, realistically achieve.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And so that answers Lee's question. And then I see a question here. In terms of your startup payback, what kind of terms are we looking at in terms of span of time? Looks like maybe a 30, 90-day bullet loan. Maybe you can give a little more color there.
Yeah, at the moment we're doing a trade cycle that is below the 45 days. So this is essentially cash that is working for working capital purposes. That helps a lot because usually businesses get paid in terms of 30 days. So when they can get access to delt.ai, they can pay for the goods and services they need today. They can sell them and ship them today, and they'll get paid in 30 days, which is enough time to pay back this kind of loan, which is more of a revolver line that they have with us, and fulfill their commitments without having cash problems. I hope that I was clear enough with my explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. I think this would be an interesting time, and I will defer to Tom and Bill on this. It might be an interesting time to talk about the structure of this partnership and kind of start ending with that. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about the sort of trading party relationship that TrustToken has with DeFi with delt.ai that actually makes this possible. So, Tom or Bill, names subject to change, so don't quote us on this. Would you like to talk about TAM at all in terms of this relationship?
Sure. It's Bill. I'll take a shot at it, Michael. So, in effect, TrueFi is the marketplace. It's the protocol where capital will form and be deployed. And TrustToken, which is the corporation, and we are a separate entity that services the protocol, but we're also trying to do other activities to create more opportunities for capital to move on chain, and that's by running an asset management business. So in effect, we formed what we're calling Trust Labs, which is our corporate entity behind TrustToken. Sorry for all the different nomenclature here. But our asset management business is in effect running or setting up a new portfolio of which delt.ai will be a part of, which is what we're calling our FinTech B2B portfolio. And this is, again, our strategy for who are great initial opportunity or initial candidates to borrow money off of the TrueFi protocol. It is these businesses like what Joe and delt.ai are doing, which are very high value-added services businesses that are not well understood by the traditional capital markets, and so they need access to capital. And so we're going to create a fund that we're going to manage inside of TAM, Trust Labs Asset Management, that is going to look to select who the right borrowers are. And our partnership with delt.ai is that they were the first borrower from this strategy that we're doing, and we're working very closely with them, and we're going to build and expand our partnership with them because of the insights they can give us in helping us figure out where else we should be borrowing, not just to themselves, but to other business models that aren't necessarily competitive with their business model, but are in similar verticals in the fintech world. So that's what we're looking to do. And so, and again, the point is for us to make as many interesting investment opportunities as possible on TrueFi, so that people are looking for interesting places to lend their capital. They'll go there and they'll find these, and these are things that you won't find anywhere else. Others are not making this available on a broad-based basis to institutions or to individuals. So that's the strategy, and that's the partnership strategy. And again, I said it before, we just could not be more pleased to be partnered with Joe and his team as we expand this strategy.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you so much, Tom. I think we'll pause it for here for all things delt.ai and TAM. And keep in mind, guys, these are working names in terms of TAM and all. Yeah, Tom, good.
Just add one thing on top of that. Bill said it really well, but I guess I just want to drive the point home and sort of connect the dots between some of the things Raph was talking about and kind of what Bill was talking about, which is, we've done an amazing job, building a protocol, raising a lot of money, lending out a lot of money, no defaults. It's been a fantastic year. And the thing that we've learned is we can continue to grow that business. But as Raph said, the only way this really gets to be its full potential and becomes, a multi-$100 billion, trillion-dollar protocol is if we enable lots of other asset managers to also bring their expertise to this platform. And so this is the first step on that. And in fact, this Trust Labs Asset Management is kind of us eating our own dog food at some level. We're proving out the model of an external asset manager using this platform. We've got a number of other asset managers that are potentially interested in doing that as well. So I just want everybody to kind of see the direction this is going and connect the dots between, hey, we have this internal asset manager that we're using to prove out the platform. We're doing some loans like an external asset manager would do to some super exciting, opportunities like delt.ai in this fintech B2B space where we see, some real room that, finance is being disrupted. But that's one step along a path that takes us to lots and lots of external asset managers, which is what Raph was talking about.
Exactly. And to add on to that, the fintech B2B portfolio that we've been talking about, it is going to be appearing on app.truefi.io, and it'll be open to external, any sort of investor that wants to join that portfolio very soon. It will probably be KYC'd lenders, I believe, for that one, for regulatory reasons. But that's going to be allowing more capital in, and you're going to be seeing it online there very soon. And hopefully, as more borrowers come in on the borrowing side, we're going to be able to open up more and more allocation on the lender side and grow that portfolio to be quite large.
Beautiful. Thank you. We'll keep it moving then. Again, thank you all, Bill, Tom, Raph, Joe, and all the folks that made this thing possible. You're going to see plenty more of these coming forward. And I'll pause all things delt.ai for now. But please feel free to ask questions in the Town Hall chat, and we'll go back to them. Now, with that, we've got our master of all things analytics and increasingly also product, Tyler, who will take us a little bit through first some of the status of TrueFi to date. How are we doing right now? And then he'll show us some things that I'm so excited for you to see. In fact, some of our partners here might be seeing it for the first time. It's so incredible. So we'll let Tyler go back to back here with analytics and then some product demos. Tyler, take it away.
Thanks, Michael. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and share some Dune Analytics dashboards. Can someone confirm that you can see my screen okay in the chat?
Confirmed.
Perfect. All right. So what we have here is TrueFi at a glance. And so this is kind of a high-level overview showing where we are today, where we've come from, and kind of what we've accomplished on the lending side over the past year and where we are at current. So today we're at just over $950 million TVL. And since we last spoke in this community town hall setting back in November, we're pretty close to where we were at that point. We've moved around that $1 billion TVL mark just over the past 2 months and dipped a little bit just kind of as a whole crypto market has taken a hit. But in our lending pools, we still have over $900 million sitting in our lending pools today. And that is generating ever increasing loan volumes and activity happening on the lending side within TrueFi. So what's happened to date in TrueFi is that we have now issued over $1.1 billion of loans on the protocol. That's happened across 105 loans. And today, that's $500 million outstanding in the hands of borrowers. So what's really exciting about that is still 0% default rate. So all loans have been repaid by our lenders, and in those repayments, we are just under $10 million has been paid out to the lenders in TrueFi today. And on the governance and true staking side, over $1 million has now been paid out to governance. Most of that has gone directly back to stakers. But that's including both the version 1 fees, which went to the treasury, and the version 2, which has gone straight out to stakers. Kind of getting more into stakers, this is something that I'm still proud of and excited about. What this means for TrueFi is kind of how high of engagement and participation we have on the staking side. So today there's just under 200 million staked on TrueFi, 200 million TrueFi tokens staked here, 180 as you see here, and that represents almost $40 million in value today. And that number has pretty much steadily climbed upwards, although kind of the last week of December is probably a lot of people are paying their taxes. Some True has unstaked and restaked. But still today we're around almost 40% of the circulating supply of True is staked and being put to work. And the community just keeps growing. So if we look at our ecosystem and kind of the total number of people participating, we have over 5,000 True holders on chain now. Probably many, many more when you think about people who are holding True just purely on centralized exchanges like Coinbase, like Crypto.com. Those won't be reflected here. And again, that number keeps ticking steadily up. And, really nice to see a lot of new faces here in the town hall today. I was just going to say a couple more stats on our metrics too. All these are in June, and I'll drop the links here after the chat. But kind of another look at what this looks like, more granular on our loan activity. Giving more color here. So over those 100 loans that we've done, we have 25 out today, representing that $500 million of value. And again, 80 loans that have been made by TrueFi have been repaid. So over $600 million has been returned to the protocol. And maybe just a last thing to cover here too is kind of back to increasing activity on the protocol. Utilizations in each of these pools have steadily climbed upwards here today to where we're now around 60% utilization on the protocol. And this is kind of a slow growth. Like whenever we have new big deposits come into our pools, it kind of takes some lag time for new borrowers to show up to take those loans from this bigger pool. And what that's looked like, since October, since November, is just these utilizations continue to climb upwards. And maybe as a segue into what's happening in the future, really excited about what we're gonna do with the new lending marketplace on TrueFi, which means that we're going to open this up to more portfolios, more managers, and I think that these types of portfolios are going to typically have more utilization as they're directed at particular strategies. So I'll pause here before jumping over to say more about that and show a bit of that product. And just want to leave a pause for any commentary, any questions on the metrics on what's been shown here. Anything, Raf, Michael, you all want to pitch in on that?
No.
So Rob is typing, so good.
I think this is great. I was adding a note in the town hall chat, and feel free if anyone from the community has questions to drop them in there. But Taylor, those are great analytics. We're continuing to grow utilization, doing more and more lending in our existing beachhead market, while in parallel we are starting up lending in TradFi, which is where we think we're going to get a lot of growth over the next couple of years. So both of those are very important to us.
So, okay, well, without further ado, I will share a bit more on what this is going to look like, this new future we keep talking about. So this is going to be, and again, can someone confirm that now you're seeing the TrueFi app on my screen here?
It's there.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you. So what this is going to look like in actuality is when you come to TrueFi, you're actually going to see two sets of lending opportunities available. One is going to be our existing lending pools, which kind of have like broad generalized strategies, almost like an index fund across different sets of borrowers. And then you will see this new section, which is going to introduce portfolios. And we're going to call this a TrueFi Lending Marketplace. And so just to caveat this is a early sneak peek, very beta just for you, everyone who's here in Discord today. So once this hits live over the next couple of weeks, it's going to look a bit different, honestly, a lot prettier. And but I hope that this kind of shows you where we're headed here. So what this means in this managed portfolios, which is actually going to be renamed to TrueFi Lending Marketplace, is that these are portfolios that independent parties, third parties can come here and create their own lending pool in TrueFi. And that lending pool can be tailored to a specific strategy, like B2B finance, like lending to the delt.ai's of the world. It could be like a biotech lending firm. If some asset manager came here and they had a specific expertise in lending to biotechs, they could use TrueFi to go ahead and launch that portfolio. What I'm excited about is kind of the possibilities are endless there. Like I just threw out a random one of a biotech portfolio. Certainly, we anticipate that this is going we're going to have more crypto-focused portfolios here and maybe focus on specific borrowers that people want exposure to. But yeah, it's really now, instead of launching like one of these pools just purely out of the delt, that kind of one size fits all. Anyone can come here and spin up their portfolio and their investment fund suited towards what they want to do and what their lenders and what their borrowers want. So I'm just going to show, this is on Robson, this is on testnet here, just kind of like how easy that is and then what that looks like on the other side. And this will all segue into the next section with Antec, where he's going to talk about our bug bounty and kind of, putting this new smart contract code through the ringer. So say I'm a portfolio manager here and I want to create one of these and go out and track new lenders and borrowers here. So this is kind of a random example, but I'm just going to say back what I had before that, I'm going to launch my biotech lending portfolio. And I'm going to use my expertise to lend to a portfolio of biotech borrowers. And I want this denominated in USDC. And I'm kind of a small shop, so just to launch and prove myself, I'm going to make this only limited to $1 million, and I'm going to charge a 1% management fee on my portfolio because I'm pretty confident in my ability to outperform and that lenders are going to want to work with me. And this is going to be just a 90-day portfolio. So I'm just going to go ahead, spin that up. And now on the other side of this, anyone who comes over to TrueFi is going to be able to participate in my portfolio. So this is our testing environment. We've got a lot of portfolios here, but we should see after a bit that I actually have a biotech portfolio now here that people can deposit funds into, and then I can start issuing loans as soon as there are funds sitting here today. So I'm gonna kind of skip ahead to what that looks like. So this contract, these smart contracts are actually live on mainnet today, and kind of bulletproofing and testing. And you can see here that our very first portfolio has actually created loans. It's actually issued loans here that have gone out, a $50 loan to a borrower, one of our own, and we've actually repaid these loans on the other side. Here's a loan being marked as repaid here. And from the same portfolio, we can actually go ahead and kind of not pretty today, but we can actually go create a loan to a borrower on the terms that we define and negotiate with each borrower. So that's just a very kind of brief sneak peek, and I don't want to give too much away because just in the near future, as these portfolios are tested more thoroughly and bulletproof, you're going to see these live in just the next couple of weeks here. And this is the basis for the type of lending that we're going to do to traditional finance borrowers, starting with delt.ai and many others as well.
Just incredible. Anyone on product or exec team want to add anything extra color to this?
That was fabulous. Thank you very much, Tyler, for walking everyone through that. And I'd love to, if anyone has any reactions or feedback, please drop it into the town hall chat. And just so everyone has context on this, at some point, it could be years from now, we think this is going to be like Amazon, where we have thousands and thousands of different sellers coming in to offer their product in this lending marketplace, because it's going to be the best place to go find lenders. It's going to be the place that borrowers are going to come if they're looking for capital, looking for a good asset manager to work with. And it's going to have so many efficiencies that traditional finance can't have. Just like if you are a traditional business and you start selling online with Amazon, you get plugged into this huge marketplace of consumers that are shopping on Amazon. You also get all kinds of efficiencies. Amazon can do fulfillment for you, lots of great things. But of course, at the beginning, we're not at that point yet where all the best asset managers in the world are flocking to this marketplace. Right now, we're going out and we're hunting, finding the very best asset managers that we want to bring on as our first 10, 20 asset managers over the next, let's say, 6 months, next year. And once we really get this going and we make those asset managers successful, are offering a great product to lenders, offering a great experience to borrowers, then we think this thing is going to really start to scale up and eventually become the go-to place. If you are a new asset manager, if you're raising another fund, this is going to be the go-to way that you do that. So Heather was just showing you, this is kind of our first version. It definitely has some limitations. For example, all of the portfolios that you see here in the first version of the lending marketplace, these are all closed-ended portfolios. So they launch, they raise money, and they give out loans, and then they end on a certain date. Let's say it goes for 6 months or it goes for 3 months, and there's no intermediate liquidity whatsoever during that time period. that's one of the simplest ways to design a portfolio that gives the portfolio manager flexibility for deploying that capital and not having to worry about redemptions from the lenders. But future versions of this are going to allow portfolio managers to select between all kinds of options. They're going to be able to say, hey, I want to have a portfolio that's going to be 5 years long, but I'm going to offer liquidity every quarter. Or I'm going to have a portfolio that's 2 years long and I'm going to have liquidity every month. And here's what I want the maximum to be. Here's the process for people to put new capital in, to take capital out. There's going to be all kinds of flexibility there that's basically going to reflect all of the different ways that you can think of them like debt funds, all the different ways that debt funds like to work. Right now, we're just taking a slice of that we think is simple, that we can execute really well on, make very secure. We're going to be launching with that with some initial partners, but adding more and more dimensions of flexibility in the future.
And Ralph, I just wanted to chime in on a little bit more color on that demo. So at launch, I kind of walked through how easy it is to create one of these portfolios. In the near term, this isn't going to be something where like everyone's going to come create a portfolio and we're going to have thousands of these things. We're kind of going to roll it out over time. So similar to Compound, Aave, how they have 10 or 20 assets listed today, but pretty easy to spin up a new lending market. When governance approves it, we're going to follow that type of model. And so you can imagine over time, as we become more decentralized, we kind of test this thing out and improve it more. We want to get to a place where we're going to have thousands of portfolios. But at launch, we're going to kind of work with partner by partner to launch really high quality portfolios in this lending marketplace, and work with the community in choosing and approving which of these new portfolios are going to show on the homepage. And I guess the other thing to say there is, I showed how easy it is to create a portfolio, because I think that's really going to be the value proposition to the external managers, to the borrowers. Just seeing that, if you have lenders, if you have your strategy in place and you know what you want to do, it's going to be super easy to spin one of these things up and get up and running. And that's the future we're building here.
Exactly. Okay, well, thank you, Tyler, for sharing that. Michael, I think we're ready to hand it over to Antec, unless there's anything else on the product side.
Let's do that. Again, so cool. I pushed pretty hard for getting this out here, and I'm glad that exec team relented, because this is cutting edge stuff, and we're really building on the edge here. So thank you, Tyler, for that presentation, and everyone for the comments. And let's go to some of our rapid fire stuff. We're gonna go Antec, talk about bug bounties. We're gonna go then over to Ada to talk about the swag store. We actually will, why don't we go ahead and bring it back to Antec to talk about ETH Denver, finish off strong there, and then we'll wrap it up with Matt to talk about the POAP that everyone will be getting here if you claim within the next few days. All that said, and then we'll have, maybe let's call it a half hour for AMA. Maybe we'll end it early, maybe we'll run it long, but let's go in that order and start it off with Antec, please.
Hey, this is Antec, and I will give you some details about the bug bounty program we just launched for our new lending marketplace. So in preparation for the launch of the new version of the protocol, we have deployed a completely new set of smart contracts disconnected from the previous version. Obviously, bulletproof smart contract security is our priority, and we'd like to enlist you, our community, to help us find any vulnerabilities lurking in the code. In order to benchmark all the hackers and security experts auditing the code, we have injected up to 10 bugs to the smart contracts and dedicated an award for each of them. The rewards range from $1,250 up to $10,000, depending on the severity of the bug. You can find all the details in a link I'm posting in the chat now. And if you have any questions regarding the bug bounty program, drop them in the dev channel. That's it about the smart bug bounty program from me. Back to you, Michael.
Okay, we'll bring over to Ada to talk about the swag store. I think this one's gonna be really cool as well.
Sure. Thank you, guys. Yes, so we just launched our new merch store, TrueFi, with some new TrueFi Fresh swags. So I'm gonna drop this link in our Town Hall chat right now. And I have a surprise for everyone, that everyone who joined this Town Hall chat can have a 20% discount code to purchase TrueFi swag with from now until 3 days from now. And the code will be TrueFi22, which is also posted in Town Hall chat. So please check out the merch store and let us know your feedback. Any feedback's welcomed. And that's it. I will hand it back to Michael.
Amazing, thank you. This stuff's so cool, and you'll notice that we're really emphasizing TrueFi swag right now. We're really going to be focusing on that brand in large for the time being, and that probably hidden in maybe, let's call it end of Q1 or so. We tend to use fashion and streetwear a little bit more aggressively for our branding efforts. So I won't spoil too much about what we're going to be giving away at ETH Denver and beyond. But while I think you can think of our swag right now as sort of the meat and potatoes, the sort of 101 of what good swag looks like, it's only going to get better. I think an inspiration that we joke about is a Kanye album release limited edition kind of set, but you'll let us know about what you want to see. So Supreme collab, work in progress, right? With that, why don't we hand it back over to Antek to talk about ETH Denver, where we're probably doing our biggest in-person event since the last 2 years. Antek, and tap in Matt if you need to.
ETH Denver is coming soon. It's happening in February, starting February 11th. ETH Denver is the biggest hackathon in the world, going on for quite a few years now. I think it's one of the oldest Ethereum hackathons. And we have the pleasure to be the official sponsor of ETH Denver. So we invite you all to come to Denver. You will be able to meet our team. We'll have the engineering team. We'll have Rav there doing discussion panels. We'll have our engineers running workshops and mentoring the hackers. And we're also planning a huge party for Valentine's Day. That's February 14th with our co-hosts. We're going to be sponsoring. We're going to be hosting the party with Balancer, Perp Protocol, Solace, and Cow Protocol. We're gonna have some really cool swag to give away during the party and the hackathon. So make sure to hit us up, and maybe you can grab some food or drink together. I'm excited to see you there. Back to you, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
I guess I'll jump in before Mike takes over again. I just want to give a huge shout out to our boots on the ground out in Denver, our contractor, Mike Lotto, for helping us book the venue and get the sponsorship in order, and just really good collaborative efforts there. So super thank you for that. That's pretty much all I have to add to ETH Denver. Good wrap up there.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. It's a lot of love going around. It's good stuff. I will say that it's kind of cool how we're doing this. We got maybe about 10 people going all in, give or take. A core team that's there on a serious mission to make deals happen, recruit, and really connect with the community. And then there's what we'll call the fun team. We're paying our own way, and we're going to be representing TrueFi, but also really kind of enjoying ourselves. And this is kind of a cool way we're running as a remote business. We've got over 100 people around the world, and you got to ask yourself, how are you going to keep culture fresh? I think this is one of our first initiatives to bring people together, and not just people in-house, but people out of house, you guys. Especially as we move towards more of a DAO, that line will blur. So I think it's ever more important to get more of these boots on the ground, more of these in-person connections, because we're all going to be working together ever more closely in the coming years to build this thing. With that, I'm going to let Matt wrap it up with the announcement of our POAP. And after that, we'll head over to the AMA.
Sweet. Thank you for that, Mike. So as a token of our appreciation for all of you showing up here today, we're going to distribute a POAP NFT. What a POAP is, if this is your first time hearing about it, POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. So these are NFTs that can get attached to events that we are hosting, whether it be town hall, in-person events. We're looking to roll out we've been doing these for a little bit now, so there's probably, I think, a little bit more than 5 of these out in the marketplace right now. These are free to claim. You just need to drop your email, and then we distribute them usually about a week after we close the Google form. We highly encourage you to start collecting these. We're kind of on the drawing board right now, putting together a rewards program for this to help drive community, engagement, incentives, and stuff like that. So if you guys pop over to the town hall chat, I'm going to drop the Google form link right now. Let me know if that works. I'm almost certain that's live. But if you go in there and it is live, you should be able to fill that out. It's not live, okay. 1 second.
And I wonder, Ada, you can make this call too. Are we going to share the visual for the POAP, or we want to keep people surprised? What do you guys think?
Let's share it.
Totally. Yeah, go ahead, Ada.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
I'm not sure if I have permissions to launch this, Ada. Maybe you can help send it.
Well, yes. Why don't we continue the AMA while we're setting up that? Or once it's live, I will add everyone in the channel, and we will extend the registration time for another hour for everybody to participate. How about that?
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
So, yeah, give us a second. We'll post the live link here in a moment. And you guys will have about an hour to fill that form out.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm really excited for this one. This one's really funky, and we're still continuing to play with a little bit of a mascot, and also some of the core themes of the product that this is becoming. So awesome. There you go. It's a bizarre, lending marketplace. All right, with that, we've covered all of our prepared content, and now's the time for you guys to tell us what you want to hear, to suggest ideas, to start discussion, to maybe even break out into working groups later. But this is now the community's meeting. You guys run it, and I'll just be your humble host. Any questions you have, feel free to either unmute. If you can't unmute, you post in Town Hall chat and tag me. And if you just want to type it in chat generally, then we'll play with that. And I'll moderate the questions and send them to the right people. So we'll let this run for at least a little bit. And if there's no questions, then we'll close it out early.
All right. We have to start calling on people. No questions? Oh, well, Weedman is asking a question in the chat about one of the loans. Roshan or Hal, does anyone happen to know the status of that loan that Weedman is mentioning? The Plutus lending one?
What's the question? Sorry.
Weedman put it in the town hall chat. There's apparently a Plutus lending loan that's out that Etherscan shows it as repaid, but app.truefi.io doesn't seem to be reflecting this.
Oh, yeah. I can answer that. Yeah, it's just that the UI the UI interprets closed or repaid, not just meaning that it was actually repaid, but also then like there's a smart contract function you need to call to actually close the loan. And we usually have a keeper bot that does that automatically, but that might have ran out of gas. So let me take a look at that because I actually didn't notice that. So thanks for catching.
Yeah,
I can chime in there too. I think sometimes it takes a couple days to close the loan because we try to run that at like 70 Gwei gas prices. And so I think gas prices have been pretty high the next couple days, and maybe they just haven't dropped below that, in which case we need to manually override our gas limit here, or gas price, I should say.
Right. Tyler asks, any thought on adding a DAI pool and pushing for a direct deposit module? Tyler, what do you mean by direct deposit module? Oh, you mean like from your bank? You can have direct deposit of your paycheck could go directly into DAI and then directly into a lending pool? Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting. So, DAI. So I think we haven't listed DAI on TrueFi so far, partly for regulatory reasons. The advice we're getting from our regulatory counsel is that it would be a little bit higher risk for TrueFi to add DAI because there's a somewhat higher possibility that DAI could be classified as a security compared with the fiat-backed stablecoins like TrueUSD, USDC, Tether, and so on. And that could expose TrueFi to the risk of doing lending in securities, which we don't, at least at this time, want it to be getting into. So that's part of why we haven't done DAI. And then there's a separate question here about doing direct deposit, which could be possible with some of these stable coins. I think that's an interesting idea. I don't know that it's something that we want to focus on in terms of core protocol development, but if someone wants to do that as a company in the ecosystem or an app building on top of our protocol, that would be phenomenal. So I'd love
Raph,
to see
I'll just jump on that. We were on a partner call this morning. One of our partners, we're not at liberty to disclose them, is working exactly on that, on having direct payroll connections so people can be paid by their employers in stablecoin, and they're going even further than that to then make it so that there will be 401k and pension plan investing options also embedded in that functionality, and then there'd be a button on their 401k page to link them right back to TrueFi to invest the money. So our partners are working on that. So and we're helping support them, but as you say, that's not our core functionality.
Great, that's perfect. Okay, well, Michael G., I'm not seeing any other questions here in the chat, so this might be a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. Yeah, the two quick things. Our POAP registration is up and live, so jump in there as soon as you can. And then secondly, in terms of recording, there's some, a few sensitive things here and there in terms of press embargoes and what have you, in terms of our partnership. So expect that this will go live on the TrueFi YouTube in not too long. I promise you won't miss it. We're going to put it up everywhere. And with that, I think we've answered all the questions.
No, I just saw two more interesting ones come in.
Yeah, sure.
Lee had a question about L1s and L2s. Raph responded if he wants to take that.
Yeah. We don't happen to have Marek on this call, do we? Okay, I wish Marek, our CTO, was here because this is something that he's been looking into. But we have developed a plan around L1s and L2s. We're basically, in the next couple of months, going to be launching TrueFi on one or more Ethereum L2s. We think that's the place to start before looking into other L1s. On some of the L2s, you can actually use the code exactly as it is, which is great. So we don't have to get it re-audited or anything like that. And we're going to be specifically looking at L2s that could drop our transaction costs massively and would make sense for smaller lenders or smaller borrowers that might want to let's say, put $100 into a TrueFi pool, but that would be prohibitive on the L1 pools. You'd be able to go into one of these L2 pools, and of course have much lower fees. So that's kind of the initial plan with L2s, and then taking it from there and looking at potentially other L1s. We've talked about Polkadot, Solana, a handful of others, and there's still more research that we need to do there. But I think we'd kind of look at the results of how we're doing in terms of the L2 to inform what we want the L1 strategy to be.
One other question that got slipped in here at the end, which I think is interesting, from Specs, is basically trying to understand how the core business might be impacted in an environment of rising interest rates. A little bit over my head.
Is that
maybe Bill, maybe Roshan?
Bill or Roshan? Yeah.
Roshan, you want that, or you want me to take that? I don't know.
Why don't you start? You can start it off.
Sure. Great question, and let me give a succinct answer as I can, because it's spot on. Rising interest rates are actually good for lenders. It gives the lenders on our platform an opportunity to actually increase their loan capital, because all sources of capital throughout the market will be affected by, as central banks, obviously in this case we're talking about the U.S. Fed, which is our main reference point for that. So we actually think that this will be a good thing for our capital providers. Obviously there will be adjusting factors going on, because our current mass users of capital, the on-chain market makers and delta neutral hedge funds, are going to have to adjust to the fact that their returns are going to go down unless their underlying core activity increases with that, which I'm not sure that is correlated. So it's margin compression for them, and it should be expansion of opportunity for our lenders. That's how we think about it from a macro standpoint. I don't know if I'm getting exactly at your question, but obviously we're thinking a lot about what does a rising rate environment mean for us, and it's our borrowers will have compression of margin unless their underlying activity is somehow correlated with expanding with those rates. Roshan, if I missed anything, or if you have a different take on it, please go ahead.
Nope, same exact take. Well said, Bill. We think ultimately this is good for the business.
Okay, and Hal, do you want to add an extra comment on L2s, other blockchains?
Yeah. I just want to say, in general, this lending marketplace model is groundbreaking in a lot of ways, and one of the best things about it is we took all of the lessons that we learned with the first set of pools, and we created a more optimized, simpler way to lend on Ethereum. And one of the huge benefits of this is that each portfolio is small and modular. So that means if we find specific blockchains that we want to start using this year, and that if lenders are willing to borrow on them, it's really straightforward to deploy a new pool. So like each pool is a lot more standalone. It doesn't rely on other parts of TrueFi to operate. So as far as building on other blockchains, I think that this lending marketplace is extremely bullish for building on Solana, on something like Polygon. So I'm really excited about that.
Agreed.
There's a great question here around lending and borrowing non-stablecoin assets. I think we're maybe messing around with something there. Anyone want to comment?
I can take that one.
Go for it.
I think the two-part answer to that is, one, we want to get to a place where there can be pools for basically any asset on TrueFi. So obviously the first one is Ethereum, BTC. But at the moment, BTC. But at the moment, at least, each of our borrowers has a credit limit that applies across all of the pools. And so in the past, when we've kind of surveyed the borrowers to get their interest in other assets, it's often a question of, well, they would borrow some WBTC, but if that's going to limit their dollar borrowing capacity, then they're less interested. So that's kind of where we are with that at the moment. I think we want a little bit more borrower demand before we start having.
Yeah, and we probably it would be difficult to add some of the smaller crypto assets that are more at risk of being securities, but it is realistic that we could add Bitcoin or Ether at some point and have lending pools that are focused on those.
Okay, I see a lot of folks typing, but I'm going to make the guess based on who it is. That it's probably just extra color to some of our questions. Unless there's any opposition, I feel comfortable saying this was great and to call it a win. Close it out here. Any last thoughts, Raf, anyone on the exec team, any product teammates or community members to finish us off strong?
No, thank you all for coming. I think it's going to be a very exciting next couple of months. We've got a lot of stuff that's going to be shipping for the TrueFi Marketplace. And please invite your friends, anyone else interested in DeFi or lending, to come join us for the next one.